Greetings and salutations! What a beautiful day for a ball game! Here's some wrestling news. WWE denies banning masks from TV tapings. Meanwhile, Superstars are considering a hiatus from WWE TV. And Impact Wrestling drop a huge tease for a released WWE star. More on that in a little bit. Real fans return to their natural habitat for WWE TV tapings, and with that comes a little bit of controversy. You may have seen some news around the wrestling world yesterday that suggested that WWE had banned fans from wearing face masks at the TV tapings. Well, WWE has responded to this allegation by kind of agreeing. A select number of friends and family were permitted to attend WWE's TV production. These individuals were required to participate in medical screenings prior to entering the closed set at our training facility and were kept apart from in-ring performers and production personnel. Attendance was below 20% capacity and social distancing guidelines were adhered to with at least 6 feet between parties. Thus, face masks were not required. So whilst they weren't banned, it certainly feels like face masks were discouraged. During Wrestling Observer Live, Brian Alvarez said that Kevin Dunn specifically told fans that if you want to wear a mask, then stay at home. And if you want to wear a mask, then you're not a fan. Dunn apparently believing that if you're a fan of wrestling, you don't need a face mask. And you know what? It's fine. It's not like they're encouraging that behavior. It's not like you can go to WWEshop.com and find face masks themed around your favorite wrestlers. I mean, that would be rather hypocritical if you could do that, because, you know, if you're a real fan, you don't wear a face mask. So why would they sell face masks? Anyway, John Albert of Spectrum Sports 360 in Florida follows this up with, the fans I spoke to told me they never felt pressured by WWE to not wear a mask for TV purposes or any other reason. They confirmed temperature checks and signed waivers as well. One noted they were in a group that had masks on them and chose not to wear them when the taping started. So I feel like the story here is the WWE didn't outright ban them, but certainly peer pressured or even just very, very, very actively or passively encourage people to not wear them. That's certainly what it feels like here. When it comes to the fans at the TV tapings, it's come to light through Wrestle Talk that the roster didn't know that real fans attended those shows until they saw reports online, and this has caused some great frustration in the locker room. Many people feeling the miscommunication just isn't good enough, and more superstars are apparently planning on taking a hiatus from TV until all of this has blown over. Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn are two of those at the moment who have already taken hiatuses. They're both off at the moment, and there's no plans for them to come back until sort of all this is blown over. Now, we've seen and heard different stories about how the reaction has been to high-profile guys taking time away. Sami Zayn being stripped of the Intercontinental Championship. We talked about that on the channel a few weeks ago, and of course there was some talk of some tension between Roman Reigns and WWE as a result of Roman taking time away. So I don't know how this would affect other people. I'm sure if it's something that a lot of people chose to do, it'd be very difficult to really be angry with it. But of course, we will see what goes on. We'll see where this goes. We will see who disappears from TV over the next couple of weeks. We'll probably know why. Been a tough week PR-wise for WWE. Just yesterday at Cultaholic.com we talked about the lawsuit that is in for WWE regarding their relationship with Saudi Arabia, and that anonymous former WWE employee who spoke about what really happened on October 31st. Was it a technical malfunction with the plane that kept him in Saudi Arabia for an extra day, or was it something a bit more sinister? According to this anonymous former employee, it was the latter. WWE have responded to this in Forbes magazine and said, after the court appointed a third firm to be lead counsel, WWE provided all three law firms with specific detailed facts from the persons with actual knowledge of the situation, including the phony allegation about the plane. The first two law firms then dropped their lawsuits to avoid sanction motions, but the third firm chose to ignore these specific facts they'd been provided and instead cited an unnamed disgruntled former wrestler with no knowledge of the facts. WWE is preparing its response to the lawsuit and will be moving to have it dismissed. So watch this space. WWE will be reacting to that very, very soon. Meanwhile, it's been a tough week for WWE developmental base Evolve. PW Torch took a private Facebook message board post from Evolve VP of Talent Relations, Gabe Sapolsky. It was a message to the Evolve roster saying that the private Facebook group they are in is going to be disappearing because there are no shows for the immediate future. Gabe so describes this as a fork in the road and encourages talent to stay in touch. This is really tough times for wrestling just around across the board here. But this is sad for Evolve, who started almost 10 years ago to the day pretty much. 5 years ago, they became partners with WWE and they kind of became the NXT of NXT. So they were sort of providing scouting services to find who was going to move on to NXT. And they are one of many companies who have struggled during this pandemic. It's always sad to see stuff like this. We send all our best to everybody involved with Evolve. Things looking slightly brighter for Bushiroad in Japan. New Japan are back up and running with the New Japan Cup, and they've announced 4 shows for July. This feels promising. New Japan Road at Korakuen Hall on the 20th, Sengoku Lord on the 25th, and then the 27th and 31st, they're back at Korakuen Hall for Summer Struggle 2020. There will be fans in attendance at these shows with a limited capacity, with restrictions and health checks all done as people arrive as well. This is really lovely news for New Japan. Stardom restarting as well. Their first show back is June 21st, called Stardom Is Again. You'll be able to watch this online, and tickets are on sale right now for the Stardom fan club members. So there will be a select number of fans in attendance there as well. Bushiroad pretty much just shut operations once the pandemic took hold, and it's great to see them start to get back to running normal business again. Bobby Lashley, but not Bobby Lashley. Impact Wrestling teasing the return of some former stars released by WWE. I know this is a headline that I feel like I've said ad verbatim for the last 4,000 years, but they dropped the biggest hint possible last night on Impact Wrestling show on Axis. So we had a match featuring Moose, who is the reigning TNA heavyweight champion, the king of TNA, long live the king. And as he won the match, EC3's old TNA music started playing. You know, trouble, 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 rubber, 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 rhubarb, rhubarb. That one. This caused Moose to look concerned for a moment. Even the commentators acknowledging that's EC3's music. So, and then it stops. EC3 doesn't come out, but what a hint to drop. Also last night on Impact, they showed a video. You know the breaking news videos they've been doing? They did one the other week where they announced wrestlers released from the WWE. They did another one tonight where they said at least one former world champion will be at Slammiversary, hinting that they're going to get more than one big name from the lot that were released in WWE in April making their debut or maybe their return to Impact Wrestling. Now, when you look at the list of people that were released from WWE back in April, there's been so many associated with Impact Wrestling. We've already seen Deonna Purrazzo make her debut. Ty Conti was in conversation yesterday. We talked about that on the news. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are amongst it in the conversation. Eric Young has been dropped into conversation, as has Heath Slater. And of course, EC3. EC3 probably the heaviest hinted at so far, not just in playing his music on Impact last night, not just in being a former world champion, which fits the criteria, but also in videos that EC3's been doing. There was one which featured him drinking out of an EC3 2015 TNA champion mug. And I'm glad that at least one of those mugs still exists. It wouldn't shock me if we see EC3 back in Impact Wrestling. You know what? It might be the best thing that ever happened to him as well. So there's your news for today. Talking of Impact Wrestling, brand spanking new episode of Desert Island Graps on the Cultaholic podcast feed today. I'm going to be chatting to Cody Deaner from off of the Deaners, chatting about his life and times in professional wrestling, and he's going to pick what 3 matches he would watch over and over again if he was stranded on a desert island. You'll hear that on the Cultaholic podcast feed a bit later on today. Adam Pacitti will be along with some wrestling news in a little bit as well, so look out for that cheeky scamp. And until we speak next, stay safe. Love you, bye.